your life starts changing as an agency owner, and then your life really changes when you don't hear about client fulfillment anymore, right? Can you imagine like clients not reaching out and being like, yo, Tyler, can you help me, blah, blah, blah. You just like worry about jumping in sales calls the whole day and fulfillment is taken care of for you. That is one of the things that allows you to scale a lot. And then for me, it was first letting go of the fulfillment and then letting go of the sales. When you can have 5 closers in your team taking on 5 calls each per day, and so you're like doing 25 calls per day, then that's when things are getting really fun because you're spending most of your time with content, which is a lot how I spend my time today. It's like doing the ads with my media team and then doing the content. Things start moving a lot faster when you get to those stages. So Tyler, are you ready to take it to the lab?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right, awesome. It's a pleasure, long time coming. Tell us a bit about your experience as an agency owner. How did it start?
Yeah, great question. So basically, I started off, I think it was like 4 years ago. I started a general marketing company, basically helped everybody in my local area, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, with just full service. I didn't know how to do all of it yet, right? You kind of just learn it as you go, and did that. And then after about a year, I started at PaintLaunch. So we're just working with painting companies now because I found it was pretty hard to get results for everybody very quickly. And so, yeah, started that because a good friend of mine after church reached out to me. He's like, hey, can you help me with my marketing for free? And I was like, maybe. And so I did that, got into his franchise, and just kind of expanded across North America over the last 3 years. And yeah, that's how I got into it.
Nice. What was the motivator to get into the agency space?
Yeah. So to get into the agency space, to be honest with you, I went through everything. So starting off when I was like 14, 15, I was into reselling. I'm not sure if you're familiar, where like you'd like sell like sneakers, you sell like goods online just for a little like premium. So like PlayStations, all that stuff. And from there, like I realized it got me to a certain level, but it can get me any further. I wasn't providing like actual value. I wanted to like learn a real skill. And so I went down the whole rabbit hole of trying to like do the internet money thing, right? Where you like go through drop shipping, Amazon FBA, like all that stuff. Came across, after I failed at all those, I came across an e-com agency out of Atlanta, worked for them for a little bit, and I did that just remote, and I did that for, I guess, about 6 months, then started my own thing. So, yeah, I guess
So
that's
what
how I
did you
got
do
into
for
it.
the agency?
Pardon?
What did you do for the agency?
What did I do for them? Yeah, I just did the media buying, so like they trained me on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you were trying to do like, did you try to do drop shipping?
I tried to, it failed horrendously.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before you started being a media buyer for an agency, you already had experience as a media buyer trying to launch your own product.
Yeah, so it was just trying to like, it was a lot of like beginner e-com stores. So like trying to get those launched, and that was also a hard part of it, is like they had no like proven marketing, no resources at all. And that's partly why I wanted to start my own thing, work with a little bit more qualified companies. Because I feel like the agency I was working with didn't really know too much
Yeah.
about it either. They were doing really well. They still do really well. Super cool guys over there. They grew alongside me. So yeah, but
So you started general, right? With your agency, you started helping everyone, and then you realized you can't get fulfillment done and fulfillment well for all types of company. You decided to go with the painting niche. And what was the process of creating your offer for them?
yeah. So to create the offer for it, I went through a bunch of iterations. Like I went all the way to doing cold email for painting companies. So I tried like all the services for them. And what I came to find was that like Facebook ads by far had the highest return. Like we had done PPC for a long time. We had a media buyer for PPC. Didn't turn out too well. We did local service ads. We still do that. It crushes. It's just a lot of the Canadian markets don't have it as of yet. And then Facebook ads is the one that we really landed on because they could build their brand alongside generating leads, and it didn't take them like decades to get those leads. The results could come in pretty quick, right? So that's why we landed on Facebook. That's how we landed on the deliverables we have now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how were you initially capturing leads
Oh, like for the agency or for the clients?
for the agencies?
For the agency. So I started off, I was still going through college while I was doing all this. And so I was actually in my college building, and there's like little offices you can like rent out, right, for like a couple hours. So I'd block it out for like the whole day, and I'd do cold calls all day. And I did that for like 3 months straight. No AC. It's pretty brutal. Got my first couple clients. There's like a performance deal from that. And then, yeah, that's basically how that got rolled out.
I love the story of cold calling for 3 months.
Yeah, it was brutal. And then we evolved a little bit, went to cold email, which is a little bit better. And that did pretty well as well. But yeah, it was just from there, once we had the cash, investing in the paid ads, and that's like all we've been doing since. Like I was telling you a little bit more, is we've been trying to focus on content recently. That's a big push we're trying to make. And yeah, a lot in the paid ads, like solely that's where we've gotten.
Yeah. And so you started with cold calling. Why was cold calling the way to go for you initially?
It's free. Yeah, it was free. Cold email was the next step, and honestly, like, we should probably still do cold email. Cold email is great. We definitely got a lot of great prospects from there, clients that we still have today from cold email. But yeah, the reason I started with cold calling, it was free, it was easy, and like that's what I was told to do. The only course I really had up until like this year, I guess, course for investing into anything, because I'm not sure if you're familiar with like Joel's program. He had like a free program for years and years. That was the only program I ever had. And so that was basically where I learned it from. I was like, okay, let me hammer on this. And yeah, that's what I did. And then, yeah, this year we recently invested in some programs, and it's been great. But yeah, that's why we started with cold calling, then cold emailing, and then paid ads.
And when you say we, is it like
Myself.
What's the setup?
Yeah,
of
me,
your
myself,
company?
and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's your team today?
What's the team today? Yeah, so we're a team of 8. We recently just got a CS on. We have 2 account managers. We have an EA, myself, my partner, which helps with some of the ops and admin. And then we have one guy for local SEO. That's basically the team there.
Yeah. And so how long have you had your agency for? A quick break in the podcast to tell you about Stealth, my white label marketing agency. If you're an agency owner and feeling stuck in fulfillment, hiring, and team management while trying to scale, this is for you. Stealth helps agency owners like you take fulfillment off your plate so you can focus on growth of your agency, from running ad campaigns and SEO to creating high converting content and managing CRMs. We handle the back end for your clients so you don't have to. Whether you're drowning in client work or struggling to scale your agency, Stealth gives you the support you need to scale without the headache. And if that sounds like a fit, then check out our website link in the description and book a time to speak with a consultant. And now back to the pod.
Agency. So this agency, yeah, it's been for 3 years now.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And so 3 years, you have a team of 8. What was your first hire?
The first hire. So it was part-time. It's actually one of the account managers we have now. And it was while I went on a vacation. I was like, oh my gosh, I have all these client accounts. I'm going to drop the ball. So I had a good friend of mine. He had been running ads for a different agency in Nashville. And he was like, hey, I can take it over. So I helped him. I trained him out before it. And then he took over. He ended up being the second hire, the second media buyer to bring on, our account manager. And yeah, so it was an account manager.
Why was an account manager your first hire?
Just the delivery side of things. One that I wish I got sooner was an EA. Opened my eyes like a lot. Just recently read Buy Back Your Time again because I'd forgotten all about it. And yeah, it made me realize like I need that. So yeah.
So what's an EA has been helping you with? How has an EA been a game changer for your agency?
Yeah, so I don't think I've found like the full effects of it yet, just because she's been ramped up for like a month and a half now. She used to be a setter. We just transitioned her to an EA. But As far as like the setting side, it's been immense. Like it's huge, not having to call every single lead, manage my appointments for the day. But as soon as she stepped into the EA role, it's been great. Like she's been able to manage my emails, do that daily, and all the other miscellaneous tasks. She's like a part of me at this point. Like she knows the business just as well as I do, and just making sure like nothing gets dropped.
Yeah. And so you said that fulfillment was hard initially, right? To generate results for so many different niches. You decided to go niche specific and only work with painters. Looking back, how happy are you with making that choice?
So yeah, the reason we picked painting is just because like the higher ticket size, they're easy to work with, they're easy to get results for. Like we don't work with every painting company, so we only work with like more experienced painting companies because there is lots of painting companies, but there's only a select few that actually can like get to that next level, have that business sense. And so those are the ones we work with. Very happy that we've chosen that. So it's like a niche within that niche, and super happy with that. I'm very excited to like get on CS calls whenever need be. It's great to work with them.
Yeah. And so do you have any personal connection to painting, or is that a niche that you just thought it was interesting because of the metrics that you saw initially?
Yeah, so initially it was just the metric side. The further I got into it, again, like how I got into it was a best friend of mine. He did a student painting company up here, and he did that for about 3 years. And so like in his first year, I just saw like how much it sucked for what painting companies typically have to do. Like they have to manage literally everything while still like getting leads. A lot of painting companies generate like the majority of their leads from door to door. And that takes a lot of time. Like the average from what I've heard from that student painting company is they get about a lead an hour. So as you can imagine, like they're trying to get 3 leads a day. They have to spend 3 hours doing door to door. Not only does that take 3 hours, but it sucks. And so to kind of loop back to that question, with that personal connection, it would be the family friend. But I feel like I've almost built a family now here because we have a bunch of painting companies on the island. I'm based in Vancouver Island, if you know where that is. And yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like sometimes people get attached to choosing or too worried about choosing a niche, right? And sometimes like the best way to go is to find the ones that you already have some sort of relationship with, right? Or, you know, a friend of a friend, your family has, you know, been involved in that niche. So it's nice to have that personal connection. But if you don't have that, there's nothing wrong with just choosing a niche because of its metrics, right? Because you like the deal sizes, because you like, you know, how it hasn't been, or how it's like underserved. And then you created the offer, you created the fulfillment for it. Like when you started working the fulfillment for painters, or learning how to generate results for them, did you hit it out of the mark right away? You were able to start generating results for them? Or did you have to tweak a lot of things to figure out exactly how to generate results for them?
So comparatively, we knocked it out of the park. Compared to all the other industries I worked in, like it took a lot longer. It still took a couple weeks to like actually get settled in. But he closed his first couple of jobs within the first month, right? So he generated, I think it was like 15 grand in his first month. And that was like the most I'd ever seen from a couple $100 in ad spend. And so that's what hooked me. It was like obviously like the friends and family stuff, but as well as like, yeah, the average job size is killer. Like the average job size, the painting companies we talk to is about 5 to 6 grand, right? A good painting company, their gross profit's about 50%, right? So that's like $3,000 in profit from there. They still have like their other expenses, but it's very easy to crush it for them.
I love it. And so looking at where you are now, right? What's your next move as the agency owner to scale your agency?
It's really just scaling paid ads, as well as the content side of things. It's more on just getting more people through. Like our retention's great. We're keeping people for a long time. It's just more so getting more people through, and that's going to just take some time. So we're ramping up the sales. We've been working on that a lot this year, as well as just refining our offer. But it's just doing more. So that's basically the plan for the next year or so here. It's just doing more. I think our team can take it on. We have a really solid team now. We have the foundation. So it's just ramping it up.
Yeah, I love it. Sometimes like the answer is just so obvious, dude. You don't need to, you know, try
Don't worry,
to
I try
figure
to
out
confuse
the
it.
way.
Like I'm like
Yeah.
so like back end over optimizer kind of guy, but I've realized in the last couple of months is like if we just take more sales calls, we'll close more
Yeah.
deals. And that's all I've been really working on. Like we have a very healthy closing ratio now. I think you talked to Curtis as well, right? And working with him, we've upped our closing rate quite a bit. And yeah, that's basically where we're at.
So how many leads are you generating for yourself a day?
Yeah, a day. So we're not generating a lot of leads. We're generating maybe like one or two applicants a day, but from there we're booking about 25, 30 like qualified showed calls a month. And that's pretty solid for us, right?
Yeah. So like 2 calls per day.
2 calls per day. Yeah, give or take.
1 to 2. Yeah. And so, I mean, you have a lot more time in your day, right? Can you like get 4 more calls in your day? And so you be like at a 5 call per day?
So that's where the CS is coming in. I'm on a lot of calls with clients right now, just
Okay.
managing clients, making sure everything's going well. And so I'm just removing myself there. So 100%, that's the goal here. That's why I was saying doing more, getting people in those places so I can have more time to take more sales calls.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's days where I just have like back to back to back. It's like 6 sales calls and then we just hammer through them. Versus like other days where it's just CS calls, and that's all I do for the day. So yes and no. Right now, I don't have too much capacity on the sales side, like appointments wise, but on the CS side, once I remove myself there, 1,000%.
And so how do you plan on removing yourself from the CS side?
Yeah. So we've basically created a game plan. We've gone over all the documentation. I've just recorded everything I've done over the last 3 months, whether it be like a Loom, a Scribe, and just throw it in a Notion doc. We're taking the transition very slowly. We're only a couple of weeks into it here, and with that, like she's fully ramped up. She knows about every client better than I do at some points, and so she's fully there. It's just getting the clients familiar with her, so that we can transition her fully into that role. But yeah, I guess that's more the plan on the CS side.
Yeah. Cool, man. Your life is going to change. You know, once you don't have to jump on CS calls, that's the first kind of step where your life starts changing as an agency owner. And then your life really changes when you don't hear about client fulfillment anymore, right? Can you imagine like clients not reaching out and being like, yo, Tyler, can you help me? Blah, blah, blah. You just like worry about jumping in sales calls the whole day and fulfillment is taken care of for you. That is one of the things that allows you to scale a lot. And then for me, it was first letting go of the fulfillment and then letting go of the sales, right? So when you can have 5 closers in your team taking on 5 calls each per day, and so you're like doing 25 calls per day, then that's when things are getting really fun because you're spending most of your time with content and with marketing, right? So like with marketing essentially, which is a lot how I spend my time today. It's like doing the ads with my media team and then doing the content. And then we have, you know, leaders that take care of a lot of the fulfillment aspects. And so things start moving a lot faster when you get to those stages. I would say that the content for me has been super useful to empower me to generate a lot of leads, right? But that's something that we were talking a bit before the calls, before the podcast. It's like you're now evaluating how you want to start creating content yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about content, what aspects of content interest you, right? So like, do you like being in front of the camera?
Not a huge fan of being in front of the camera now.
Okay. And so like, you're not a huge fan of being in front of the camera, but you're willing to do it,
Yeah,
right?
I got to do it,
Why?
right? Well, so my mindset on it is it's not even necessarily getting more leads in. It's just getting leads warmer, I guess. So like people can know, like, and trust me. So like the ads do that. Our funnels, I would say killer, right? To where it does warm up the majority of our leads. And that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years, right? I just want to have that additional source because I find that a lot of the times the people that are very integrated in the community on the painting side, the painting community itself is extremely small. The amount of painting companies huge. And so with that, the painting community itself doesn't know Tyler really, right? They've seen our ads maybe 1 or 2 times, if that. Like they don't know who I am. And so it's more of that and like warming those people up, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that makes sense. Did you ever consider like being funny with it and just like trying to mesh some sort of online personality for like the marketing?
Never, no.
No? Okay. Because I don't know. For some reason, that came to my mind as it, but like I think your thing, it's more about educating people on who you are and what you can do that's different for them, right? How can you help them that's like, that makes you stand out, right? And speaking of, what makes you stand out, like what are specific things that you feel like it's different in the fulfillment for painting companies that you do better than a generalist marketing company that would help painters, for example? Like why should a painting company go with you as a specialist as opposed to another marketing company who's a generalist, and maybe they help like local businesses but not painting business specifically?
So that's a good question. What I would say to that is painting companies are unique, right? Not all jobs are the same. There's $500 jobs and there's $20,000 jobs. There are people that will compete to like under $1 square foot, which is very cheap, where they're just breaking even, versus painting companies that are making, 50, 60, 70% gross profit. So to know these nuances and like all the nuances in the painting space, you have to be in it day in, day out. It's kind of like what I was saying in the beginning here of like, when you work with everybody, you don't understand their market or what they're doing. And so when we understand like, okay, this is what they actually need, it's a huge part of it. The second part I'd say is like just the actual ads. Like it doesn't take us 6 months to figure out like what creative to run, what headline, what offer, what primary, like any of that stuff. We just know it right away. And so I would say that because we have the data. So in 2024, for some context, we spent over $1.5 million on Facebook ads for painters. And with that, like we get all the data, we can pull it. I'm not sure what tools you use. We have some tools internally that pulls all that. So we can see exactly like what headlines got the best results. And not just like the cheapest leads, but like the cheapest appointments and the cheapest deals. And so that's why I'd say someone should work with more of a niche down company versus like a general marketing company.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's a great answer, dude. I'm sold. Take my money. Well, if I were a painting company, I'll definitely choose to go with somebody who's a specialist, right? Because you know that niche a lot better. And so you mentioned something that I haven't really heard before. And so I want to hear more about it. What tool do you use that can look at all the campaigns that you ran and pick out, the best performing ads, headlines, things like that?
So we use a tool called Super Ads. And with that, we can pull all the accounts inside of there, as well as like we have our own internal naming conventions. So like we have all of it proper, as well as having some other AI tools just to analyze all that data and then put it into like an Excel file of sorts. So we can look at like, okay, say our headline 1 is get a free quote, right? And then our headline 2 is get a free color consultation. Well, then it'd be H1, H2. And so then we can pull all those and then get the data from them, look at the cost per lead, cost per quote, cost per deal. Because then we have like the back end conversion tracking set up, right? So we send all the data back to Meta as far as like how many quotes are being scheduled, how many deals are being closed, and what their revenue was.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. That's awesome, dude. Congrats on setting that up. You mentioned something about, specific headlines, specific offers that, have worked better for different clients, right? Do you experience that different local painting companies have better results in some markets than others? And do you experience that some offers, right, don't work at all in other markets?
Yes and no. So yes, there's definitely markets that are a lot easier to crush it within. As you can imagine, if there's only one painting company advertising, it's going to be a lot easier to run an ad there, right? Versus a painting company where there's 40 painters. So within that, we just have to be more unique in like the actual ads, and that's where we like to use like video ads of like the actual painting business owner to like differentiate themselves. And so, yes, on the actual like competition side of things, it can be more expensive for those painting companies to get those leads, get those quotes, get those deals. But that's like all accounted for, like when we talk to clients and get everything started up. As far as like the actual offers, I mean, we find the offers that perform better or more value add offers than like detracting on cost. So like a 15% off offer versus like a free paint upgrade. A free paint upgrade will actually perform better, get higher quality leads through the funnel. I guess that answered that question.
Yeah, no, it does. What's a free paint upgrade?
Yeah, I know. If you're not in the paint space, you're not going to really understand as much. But like, so there's different qualities to the paints. So like, say a painter goes into Sherwin, Sherwin-Williams, like a large paint supplier. They can get like a super paint, right? Or they can get something called like an emerald. So it just, some of them last longer, they can hold up better, etc.
Yeah. Dude, I actually forgot, but my stepdad used to be a painter for
Really?
houses. Yeah. And so 'cause he was a musician and he used to paint kind of like as a, gig. And he would land these jobs and he'd be like high paying jobs, like 10,000 paying jobs. And so he used to paint houses in San Francisco, you know.
Really?
Do you have any clients in San Francisco, by the
We
way?
don't have any in San Francisco. We have some a little bit north there. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like Vacaville, Fairfield area.
Yes, I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
the outfit, what do you call it? Like
That guy's one of
the
those markets where there's like one guy running ads there and he just absolutely like wipes the floor with it.
oh yeah, they have the clothing outlets. That's what they're called, right? Like
Okay.
they sell a lot of like cheap clothing in Vacaville. Cool, man. I love that. So you focused on painters. You've been able to grow your business over the last 3 years. You're getting super excited about content and, putting content out there to kind of get people to know who you are. And once they jump on the call, they're, warmer leads. They close with you. You're putting together your team, your CS team. Right. I'm imagining your next step after that is putting together your sales team.
Yeah, that's definitely the next step there. I'm just working on that, and like getting detached from sales is gonna be huge for me. I love sales, so like that's
Yeah.
gonna be a hard part, but
Yeah.
that would be the next step. Yeah.
Okay. And then what's the vision for the company? Like, how do you see the agency growing in the next 1 to 2 years?
Yeah. Next
Doing
one.
more of what you're doing?
Yeah, just keep doing more. I don't think like the team necessarily needs to grow too much. Like we have quite a bit of capacity. Our systems are very dialed in. As I was saying, I'm an over optimizer, so everything's like very, very neat on the back end, right?
Okay.
So we can definitely have the capacity there. It's just doing more, taking more calls, closing more deals. Eventually, I'd like to just kind of get to the point where we have the sales in place, we have a leadership team, and have that coast as like a cash cow and go from there.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, having a cash cow
I mean,
sounds
we could probably reword that a little. Yeah.
No, okay, sure. But in my mind, having a cash cow is like what you want to do as a business owner.
Yeah.
Like there's different levels of running a business, right? Have you heard of the E-Myth book?
No,
Have
I'm
you
not
read the
familiar.
E-Myth? So check it out. It's a really good book. If anyone listening wants to read a book and they haven't read the E-Myth, it sort of talks about the 4 stages, and I might fuck this up. I'm sorry. The 4 stages of being like a business owner, right? And so essentially you start out by just a worker, right? An analyst, or you start a business and you're a contractor to, you're just doing the job. You're just running the ads and generating results for your clients, and you don't have a team. And then the next step is when you actually get people involved, right? into your business, but you're still very heavy in the operations. And then the third step is where you're an actual like CEO. You're not involved in the operations. You're just very strategical. The business is making money. It doesn't need you to run, right? And so like that's the third stage that you have a cash cow, let's say. And then you have the fourth stage, which is you're an investor, right? And so you just have like multiple projects at the same time. And I feel like that's the progression that we all want to get to, right? I feel like, we all want to go through this journey of being an entrepreneur and getting into new levels of like having, multiple cash cows, right? I mean, that's at least what I'm going after, right? And then next step for me, right? It's like having multiple cash cows and then eventually going into this investor sort of stage, So do you see yourself selling your agency?
I don't think so. Not for a while, at least. It hasn't really crossed my mind. I'm cool with being that third level that you're talking about, more of like where I do the direction of things and more strategic. Like I really enjoy that stuff, and that's where I'd love to be at for quite a while. I'm not sure if you've ever done like a life manifesto or anything like that. I'd recommend it if you haven't. But basically, it's like a 4-page document. Curtis had showed me this, and it's just like everything that you want to do within a day, and you talk in present tense. And what I came to the conclusion was, I love working. It's just on the back end, right? So it's working on like the strategy behind things. So maybe not in the day-to-day ads, but the things that we were talking about, where I get to pull all the data and all the information. And then creating a strategy around that. And so that's more so where I see myself the next couple of years and where I really want to go. Not more so the investor stage, which I'm sure I will when I get there. But right now, that's where I'd love to be.
Yeah, awesome. And do you in your manifesto, like tell us a little bit about that? How does it work? How did you set it up? How would you recommend somebody listening to set a manifesto for themselves? Because I know I have created manifestos before. I've created a lot of them, and so it has helped me so much to grow businesses, to stay focused, to work on different areas of myself, right? So not only business growth, but intellectual growth, fitness growth, right? And so why don't you share a little bit about your process of creating a manifesto for yourself?
Yeah, so when I was going through it, I basically looked at like my current day and what like my perfect day was, I guess. And so within that, I just thought of myself in not future tense, but present tense, what I would want to do to become that person, or I guess be that person. And so just like every step of the day, I wake up and I do X. I go and drive X car. I drive to X office. I have X team. I work on X things during the day. I come home to do Y, right? So those are the things that I did within that. And then I just expanded on that while I thought over it over about a week period. And then from there, I just review it in the morning because, I want to think of those things as like they are in motion. I am going to be doing those things. That was a little bit more on my process.
Yeah. And so how much of the ambition of being in business is monetary for you?
Honestly, not a huge part. The bigger part of it's the team. Yeah, the team is like what I really envision, and being able to like build a really cool thing with cool people, and be able to actually help people. The thing I really like about my agency is because it is, I would arguably say like one of the easier niches to get like results like we do, is we get to see like people transforming their business. So there's a company that we onboarded, I'd say like 7 months ago, and they had just been doing like themselves. They've been doing the painting themselves, and they just got like word of mouth referral stuff, a couple things through lead platforms. I'm not sure if you're too familiar. And so we had a call when he was just starting it off, couldn't afford it. Came back just about 2 weeks ago, signed up. He had a kid, so he had a little fire under his ass. And within the first week, he closed 20K. And that's like the most he's ever closed ever within like a month, 2 month period. And he did that in like a week. And so that's what's really cool about it for me. So being able to get the results for the clients, but also like building a team around me that can like help build that vision.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I mean, but you can combine both of best worlds, right? You get to make money
Yeah, of course. Oh,
as a business
don't get me
owner.
wrong. Like I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But
And you get to help people, right? Being clients and being like your own team members, right? Is there a moment where you felt super happy because of a team member that you had, right? And like this team member, maybe you changed their life, right? Maybe the business, like being able to have work, or the growth that they had in your business. Is there a specific case study, let's say, or like a specific moment of a memory, a specific memory that you cherish?
yeah, I would say there's a bunch, but if I was to say one, I would say one of the team members. It's our EA, and I would say like her being able to work from home while working on her own business. So she's like she does fitness and being able to get more clients. Like I've helped her with like consulting on her ad side of things, getting her more clients. I guess that would be like one of the biggest things for me. So she's like developing not just like in her role, like what she does with us, but like she's learning alongside it. And so she can like grow her own business and get her own clients with that.
Awesome. No, I love those stories, man, of like people that started working with us like 2, 3 years ago, and they bought, their first cars, and like they moved out of their parents' house,
Yeah,
right? They
there's a
moved in
couple
with
of
their
those too, right?
girlfriend.
Like that person I was telling you beforehand, the account manager that took it over for a week and then he, actually became a full-time employee. He was able to move out of his parents' house. Like it was a very hectic household, and so he got to move out, and yeah, he's focusing on his own thing. He's developing his skills. But yeah, it's super cool when you get to see that stuff.
Yeah, I love that. Cool, man. I feel like you're really aligned in terms of, like, we're really aligned in terms of, having business be a journey, right? Where we get to improve ourselves as an entrepreneur. We get to improve the life of clients, the life of team members, and then we also get to improve our lives of being able to, have more money to travel, to, buy cars or whatever, and fulfill our life manifestos. And so I love that you have that vision. I have that vision as well. I think that's like the healthiest vision to have. And, you know, let me ask you a little bit about the way that you work with clients, right? So when you have a painter in a local market, like how do you approach that? Like, do you work with multiple clients in the same market? What's that process for you like?
So we only work with one painting company per service area. So again, like we can't block off like all of Houston, for example, but we have different markets within that we'd operate within a client. The reason we do that is because we don't want to create competition, especially with like meta ads. It's very easily to do that, especially when you're using the same kind of data that we're pulling from. So yeah, we don't really believe in creating competition. We want to just keep improving their business and help them grow. So we do only one painting company per region. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. All right, cool. Well, I feel like it's been super valuable for people to hear about your experience niching down, launching your offer for them, creating fulfillment, thinking about how you grow your team, right? How you do more of what's been working. Like guys, if you listen to that piece of advice, like don't complicate it. Don't complicate it too much and start thinking about like, oh, let me hire a head of people, right? No, just think about doing more of what's working, right? If you're generating 1 lead a day, then how can you generate 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just close that over and over, and then just improve those numbers, right? Go from 5 to 10 to 15 to 25, and then just grow that aspect of just as Joe would say, set appointments and close appointments, right? I don't know
Exactly.
if you
That's
remember
exactly what
that,
it
Tyler.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, so SA, CA or something, or yeah, set appointments,
I
close
remember
appointments.
it. Yeah, because that's all
Yeah,
I heard every single video I watched. So
yeah, yeah. Because it's like don't complicate it, dude. Set appointments, close appointments, and that's it. And do
a little extra
fulfillment.
part though is retaining those clients, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Do you do anything special for the retention of clients?
Just be personable. Like I find like honestly, a lot of the clients that have left other like say painting even marketing agencies, the reason they left is because they felt they were just like a number. And so
Yeah.
still checking in, right? And we've systemized that a lot more. So like if a client has a big win, like our account managers will screenshot that, send it over to me. And so we can celebrate those wins with the clients still. And not leave them like in the dust, feel like we don't even check in on things, care about what they're doing. So it's just be more
Yeah.
personable. So like even coming down to like handwritten cards, like we send off handwritten cards to our clients.
Wow.
Check in on like big life moments. So like one of our clients I know with this a couple months ago, they had their first kid, and that was huge for them. And so we sent them like a little PaintLaunch hoodie, right, for their kid there. And so I guess just actually caring. I know that sounds weird, but I'm sure most people do care about their clients. But it's just going that extra step, I guess.
Yeah, and systematizing it, right? So you can actually fulfill on those.
And that's like what we've really been focused on in the last year is because like we lost the personal touch of Tyler for like a good like 8 month period. There
Yeah.
wasn't like, hey, I just check in when things aren't going well, or if they're going great, we're not celebrating those wins as much, or we're not just doing those extra things like ordering a hoodie for when they have a kid, or sending those handwritten cards because there was just too much on my plate to do that. But those are the things that actually keep them a little bit longer, as well as the results, 1,000%. But for them to feel like you actually care about their business, them being there, and growing it together.
Yeah. So do you feel like relationship or results holds the customer, the client with you?
Well, I'll say this. You can have a great relationship and poor results and keep a client. You can't have, I would argue, you can't have great results and a bad relationship with a client. At least from like what I've experienced. If they have a bad relationship, they're gone. So I value relationship more, but results are extremely important, bar none. If you have bad results, you're going to have a bad relationship eventually, right?
Yeah. I love that. I agree with that 100%. I think relationship comes first no matter what, right? Results don't always happen, unfortunately. Sometimes you're in a tough market. It takes a minute to crack. Um, and relationship is what's going to hold that, right? And
Exactly.
as
So if
long
they
as you're
have a
being
bad
real,
month, you have that
yeah,
relationship. They understand you're keeping it under control and you know what you're doing.
yeah.
And yeah, that's been huge for me.
Awesome. Well, Tyler, thank you so much, man. If you don't mind, we're going to jump onto some rapid fire questions right now. And so, just take 10 to 30 minutes or 0 to 1 to 30 seconds answering the questions. And whatever thing comes to your mind first, okay? So, what's the most impactful software that you use to run your agency?
I would say high level by far, if not Slack. I would say Slack is like extremely useful just for like daily comms, but I think that's pretty standard. I would say high level, bar none.
Yeah. And how many niches is your agency actively involved in right now?
Just one niche, and that'd be painting companies.
What's your average monthly ad spend for marketing and paid acquisition efforts?
Yeah, so we spend anywhere from 8 to 10,000 a month.
Solid. Can you share one unique tactic that you've used to acquire new clients?
Just better ads. I know it sounds like super simple, but better creative, better video sales letters, better copy, actually testing things. There was like, I think almost like a 15% lift on our apply page just from switching the headlines and subject lines and all those things. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Guys, if you listen to that one, really apply it because I agree 100%. I break down the whole ad journey, right? From creatives to like uh, getting the last reminder email to jump on a call. I get everything and start improving little by little on all of the touches. And then you get like a 15% overall lift on everything by just getting 1% here, 0.5% here, right? And so there's some magic there. I know what you're talking about, Tyler. If you could automate any part of your business, what would it be?
I would say sales, just because the time aspect. Even though I love sales, I would say if that was possible, that'd be great.
Yeah, I love that answer, dude. Because you said you loved sales, but I used to jump on like 6 sales calls a day, and I was just like, oh man, I can't do this. I love sales, but come on, you know. And then you can just be behind the screens, just focusing on like getting everything strategic done, right? So if you had to focus on only one marketing channel for growth, which one would it be?
Meta.
Let's go. What's your current revenue, and how are you initially funded?
Yeah, so right now we're at like 70K a month, just MRR. We haven't done any PIFs, so it's been pretty solid for us. As far as how we were funded or started off, it was just pay on results clients and getting that started. I mean, I used money from like my previous job to fund it as far as like keeping me living, right, and going. But yeah, it's bootstrapped.
Nice. Good stuff. And so how do you manage your cash flow as you scale?
It's a great question. Still figuring that out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have too much of a cash flow problem. Our profit margins are great. Like we're cranking on that front. Yeah, we don't really have much of a problem in cash flow, so we don't really manage it that well. It's probably something we should focus on, but we don't manage it
Yeah.
too. Like we don't like look at it as much, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you don't need to, right? You cross that bridge when you get there. And before that, you worry about what's, the next step, as opposed to like, thinking thinking so much about doing things that you don't need to be doing, right? You just need to be improving your CS process right now. And then you need to improve your sales process. And then you worry about cash flow. So what's the size of your team, and how do you approach hiring?
Yeah, so we went through our team a little bit more as far as like what that looks like. We have 8 team members, including myself. And as far as hiring goes, one channel that I wish I like actually pulled on harder was like referrals, like of current employees and or even like companies I know. And so we've recently done that, and I would say that it's been one of our best hires. But then from there, it's just like typical online recruiting, so like Indeed. And with that, I mean, you have to do a lot of filtering. And so we've created a process around that, and that's worked great for us.
Nice. And so what's your biggest bottleneck today?
I'd say acquisition, but just more of like just getting more clients. I mean, we can get more clients. It's just my time, I guess, as the owner, being able to take those calls, to convert those clients, to manage the team. I would say it was time, yeah, in operations to an effect, but also, yeah, the sales.
Okay, cool. Well, Tyler, this has been a super cool conversation, man. I'm, super thankful that you decided to come on the podcast, share a little more about your agency with our audience. And before we sign off, what's one piece of advice that you would give to agency owners looking to scale their agency?
Look at things in a longer time horizon. I've said this a couple times before, but basically not looking at things day over day, week over week, even like month over month, but like larger periods and making tweaks accordingly. So like, don't worry that you didn't get any clients this week or today, but think about it more on like, how many clients do we get this quarter? How can we improve it next quarter? That's one thing that I still get caught up in. I've really been working on my end to not worry about as much, but like just make general improvements as you go and just do more.
Of what works.
Yeah, what works. Yeah.
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 Awesome. And so where can our listeners connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, you can reach me on Instagram. It's Tyler Bains. But yeah.
Sweet. So, guys, thank you for joining us on another Growth Lab Sessions podcast. And for everyone tuning in, make sure that you subscribe. If you are finding value, leave a comment for us on YouTube, on our short form videos. And feel free to connect with Tyler, connect with myself at one of these handles right here. And let's keep the conversation going. I'll see you on the next podcast.